He said, I'm fine when I'm fresh, and I'm fresh when I'm better. It's straight from the K, and we can talk about whatever women's choices and divorces. Hey, it's all up to you. Like, comment, subscribe. Bring my hook in for me, boo. It's straight from the K. Straight. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you. Thank you, new subscribers. Thank you for giving me over 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it, making me feel like I'm somebody on this game, and that what I'm doing is not just in vain. Because this is my baby channel, meaning that I do other things, but I'm really passionate about what I do on this channel. So, that being said, yeah, we're gonna talk about the great move. Where you from? 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 And a lot of us do not know. So, let's talk about it. Now, right now, a lot of people want to move down to the South, back to the South. And, but there was they're coming back to the South because a lot of people are originally from the South. Their family members are. And there was a great migration. It was one of the largest movements of people in United States history. At 6 million black people moved from the South to the North, to the Midwestern and Western, from 1910 into 1970s. Check this video out via, I want to say, who is this video from? History.com.
Hi, my name is Yahuwah Williams. I'm a professor of history, and here's what you need to know in order to sound smart about the Great Migration. The Great Migration occurred in the decades after the Civil War and witnessed the movement of hundreds of thousands of African Americans from out of the South to communities in the North and West. Historians generally talk about the Great Migration in two waves, one from 1910 to 1940 and one that lasts roughly from 1940 to 1970, when the Great Migration is said to have ended. Historians estimate that between 1910 and 1940, as many as 1.5 million African Americans migrated from the South to northern cities. The first wave of the Great Migration accompanied a flowering of Black intellectual and artistic expression that became known nationally as the Harlem or Black Renaissance. Several factors contributed to the Great Migration, including the lack of opportunity for African Americans to make a stable living in the South. Economic inequality in the form of unfair labor practices, such as sharecropping, tenant farming, and the crop lien system, compelled many African Americans to move in hopes of more equitable treatment in northern factories. The Great Migration was also an important precursor to the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s. Finding little relief from racial discrimination in the North, African American civil rights leaders had to fight for full equality across the nation. In recent years, scholars have documented a reverse migration from northern cities back to the South.
All right, so you saw the video. It's deep. I like that way he brought it across and straight to the point, like straight. That straight we like, And so we're gonna talk about the phase one of it, because it was done in two phases. It went from 1910 up into the 1970s, but there were two phases. One was after, phase one occurred right after World War One. Yeah, during World War One. And people was hearing about, hey, there's jobs up here, and now you can escape the Jim Crow laws in the South and things of that nature, and it's better for you up here. You ain't got to deal with the things. Basically people was dealing with, this has happened since 1910. We would say, I would say around the 50s and stuff, when we have, in the Emmett Till situation, but you didn't have to go down there and, be down there because you whistled at somebody, you look, or somebody said that you look, and you stuck. But people were going back because Emmett Till was living in Chicago. He was just going, what we call down south. I'm originally from Chicago. And this migration affects me because I'm not originally from Chicago. I mean, I was born there. I was born in Cook County, baby. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, somebody in my family migrated and said, hey, I want to live up there. And most black people I know, they say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? They migrated. They was fleeing abuse and things of that nature. Abuse with their man, abuse with the oppressor, which is, I'm the white man, but we're gonna say oppressor on here because YouTube might be like, okay, you can't say, cut it. She said the wrong thing, so we're not gonna do that because it's not about that, but it is the truth. We gotta go about what the truth is. And there's no bashing or no race. We just want to talk about what really happened, what affect it to happen. You know what I mean? And we're dealing with that right now. And there was a lot of people who was very intelligent and migrated. So phase one had black, according to archives.gov. Phase one had black Southerners relate to North and Midwest, relocate to the North and the Midwest. That equaling New York, Chicago, Detroit, and Pittsburgh. Out of that was birthed the Harlem Renaissance. When they all got there and it was all creative and things of that nature, we end up getting the Harlem Renaissance with producing Zora Neale Hurston, Louis Armstrong, and even Ma Rainey, she's originally from Georgia, but she would go to New York a lot and record. So people was expressing themselves and happy that they can express themselves. And like anybody, like myself or anybody else, you get free from a situation, you'd be surprised how much creativity and expression you got in yourself, for you can go ahead on and be the best you. That part. And so that's what I want to talk about. It's really important that we pay attention to the past, because what happens is it just repeats itself. This is the map right here that a lot of people followed during between 1910 and 1970, but definitely in 1910 to 1940, this map. And then 1910, 1970, it started going more west. So pay attention to this map right here. Just a phase. I mean, it's a lot more people, but you can see, especially when it comes to a lot of ways to plot against the black Americans. Once it got time to do different things going against the Black Panthers and all that stuff, they already knew where everybody was located, and they can plot and fester a certain situation that I'll talk about later, how that epidemic hurt us real bad, because a lot of people don't understand. If you're not from it, you don't know. I want to say who we are. Generation Z, stand up, because that's, it really affected us, impacted us, and nobody talks about us too much. Like, we just don't even exist. We just all of a sudden out here and we pretty. Oh man, you seen them girls who 40 years old and 30 something years old? There's a nice looking women and nice looking men. What was we at before? Nobody talk about it. We ain't come up with no new computer and nothing. But we believe in taking care of ourselves and stuff like that. So, and we're very much hustlers and survivors, due to being descendants of this situation of the 1910 to the 1970s. I was born in 77. So my mom was born in Chicago. So she don't know nothing about this. All she knows about what she heard. But we heard it. You know what I'm saying? It's real in the field. And you felt the effects. It wasn't like you went to Chicago, New York, Detroit, Cincinnati, and everything just went away. Like, there ain't no racism. It was just that there was a need for you. And there was a lot of need in the North, because of a lot of people were going over to the war between 1910 and 1940, World War I. And inspired by World War I, more able-bodied men were sent off to Europe to fight, so leaving their industrial jobs vacant. There was a lot of industrial jobs vacant, which set us up for the setup, because we got up there and learning the industrial jobs. So a lot of us started doing industrial jobs and things of that nature. Check this picture out from a Chicago project. Thank you, Yana. Yes, and so they had a lot of vacant jobs and stuff, and this created opportunity for the black population to fill the labor supply in a now non-agricultural industrial. Mind you, down in the South, they were making money off of black people because they picking cotton and everything was in out there in in the cotton fields, or repeating or reproducing fruit, vegetables, and stuff. Anything the land was gonna bring you down the South, because it was long summers and and it's humid, so you get a lot of produce. You get a lot of stuff from the land. Where we're going to the North, we building steel. So steel was needed, and people was going up there learning trades, because the other people was getting sent off to the war. So there was a lot of job shown for the black people between 1910 and 1940. Now that's 1910 and 1940. Okay. Now it's important that we fast forward because in now 2022, with a lot of these jobs, the industrial jobs that people kept handing down to their other sons and uncles and stuff like that, or brothers or whatever, now they have more robotic functions that's taking your place. So you can't just be happy and feel like you inherited a job. Just like women can't be happy they inherited an apartment from their mama who's on Section 8 for 47 years. Those days are over. It'll be loud. Those days are over. Okay. World War II inspired the second phase of the Great Migration. They call it the Great Migration when more black people start coming from the South again. More jobs for black in the defense industry again. Because we're talking about another war. WW2. Me in his mouth, honey. Okay. More jobs for black in the defense industry ever after the war up until 1970s. Up until the 1970s, the war over. You know what I'm saying? But we still had disputes. Like the Vietnam dispute, they don't like to call it a war. So things like that nature. So, you know, they need us up there just to be bodies and do something. War up until 1970s, more north and further west migration. So you can check my map again. You see how they start going like from Texas and stuff. That's why Texas and West Coast people, they all got the crip walk. They all can dance the same. They do the same type of thing. They don't play. So it's a good thing, you know. I'm just saying, like you can follow. If you see the map, you can understand why certain people like certain things and why certain people had that certain accent. Cause like people always talk about my accent and they're like, oh my God, this so country or whatever. But then they're like, oh hold on, but you say your numbers. Like, yes, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and I can do it in Espanol as well. So the thing is that all accents are basically phased from the background of how that migration of people went. Like I know people who say we all from Chicago, but we say you're gonna do your roots, and some people say roots. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know people living in Chicago right now who say root. You know what I mean? Like they ain't been to the South at all. They just root, and I say roots. And I've been down in Georgia for a long time, but it was because of the way you came to the accent of how you got migrated to the north. So, you know, you got St. Louis, I look when you do it right they heavy on the R's, from their migration. They more influenced more from the central part, you know, like Tennessee, Maine, you know what I'm saying, Maine, you know, they got all them accents. So those accents, but Tennessee came to Chicago too, so you got Tennessee, I want to say Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and then you got little Louisiana then, and then New York and Pennsylvania and all them basically just hit the East Coast. People just went right up the East Coast. So you got your Floridians, your Florida people, your Georgians, your Carolinas, you know, and little Kentucky, I guess. They all went east. So those people say some of the same things similar. It's just like little country but not too country. Even though the New York people got that, you know what I'm saying, son, it's like still the pronunciation is on the A or something a little different. They picking up their vowels different. You know what I mean? So everybody have a way to say their vowels. Like, you know, I have family members, and you know, I've been around a long time, but they pick up a certain way they say their vowels versus how I say my vowels. You know, like I say doll, and I'm talking about a doll, like a baby doll. You know, doll you play with. Then I have another person might say dial, like dial soap, you know, like dial a number, you know what I'm saying? But for some reason, I'm thinking about a doll, it's a doll, you know what I'm saying? So all that comes from your migration, how you got there. You can still be in the same city, similar accents, but how did you get there? Oh my God. Okay, so let's go back. Let's get it. Okay, so Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, they all kind of settled in Virginia, Baltimore, Philly, New York City, up the East Coast line. Florida, Georgia, South, like I was telling you earlier. Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, they kind of took the Kentucky, Ohio, Chi-Town. Okay, they went Illinois, Detroit, Milwaukee. Okay, that's why we had the hood thing going on real tough in the 80s there. But we're gonna talk about that in another video. The next one, I think I'm gonna do that because This right here, it gets good because you'll see why people settle where they're at, why certain gangs start affiliating in certain areas as people got restless and the 80s took over. We're just talking about 1910 to 1970 right now, the migration, okay? Stay with me. And then we got LA, Arkansas, and Texas. That's really got hit in around the 70s. They went to Missouri, Davenport, and Minnesota, Oakland. And then from Arkansas and California, the Texas connection went that way as well. So, you know. So anyway, this was just a little tight lesson on certain situations and why you may have a certain accent, you have a certain belief system, you like fish and spaghetti like me, because people from Chicago are by way, like I just told you, by way of Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Hey, man. What you saying, man? You know what I'm saying, man? So, they by way of Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, but we all have different ways of talking. We have three, I know for a fact, we have 3 different Chicago type accents. The Alabama accent, and then we got the Mississippi accent, and then the Tennessee Chicago. So it's Alabama, Chicago, Mississippi, Chicago, Tennessee, Chicago. Like I said, roots, I know people from Mississippi, they say rip, but I know I eat like people from Mississippi. I love some catfish and spaghetti. Okay? I was born ready. And I was born on catfish and spaghetti. But anyway, I ain't gonna make this video forever and ever and ever. But this was a good one to talk about where you from, and how you can figure out some of the ways that you are and what things you think about. Okay? Woo! I am hot, y'all. Also, check my promos on go to my community board, okay? I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put my promos in my community board. A girl has won a community board because she 1,000 now. Ow. So go to my community board and you can see my specials there, okay? I love you. I thank you all. I really appreciate you. From straight from the cave. No, I ain't gonna do it. But appreciate you. Thank you.